Winter's here and it's cold outside, so a little time in Miami sounds really nice. Let's do that. Let's talk about One Night in Miami, Regina King's directorial debut, on this episode of The Monitors. Regina King has been a Hollywood fixture for the past 4 decades. This Oscar award-winning actor has also been directing, and with One Night in Miami makes her feature film debut on Amazon. And what a debut it is. The film is based on the play of the same name written by Kemp Powers, who also penned the screenplay. It's a dramatized account of one night spent together on the evening of February 25, 1964, by 4 real-life friends who just happened to be Malcolm X, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, and the then Cassius Clay prior to becoming Muhammad Ali. This was the night that Clay became heavyweight champion after beating Sonny Liston, and in the story, it's the day before his conversion to Islam and the impending departure of Malcolm X from the nation. If you lived in the mid-1960s, and particularly if you were black, those 4 names were among many names that carried a lot of weight in your household. They had a hand in shaping the social and political landscape of the day. Powers' script takes some liberties with history, but no doubt captures a lot of truth in staging this conceptualization of what would have been a collage of conversations these men would have had on different occasions during their interactions. Even though set in 1964, it's always amazing how these types of stories remain relevant and ultimately timeless. Regina King's direction is seamless. She handles the subject matter intelligently and manages to allow points to be driven home without being too heavy-handed. This story is not going to be overly cinematic like most screenplays adapted from stage plays. The scenes will be dialogue heavy and the sets will be static. But Kemp's words for these men are so sharp and organic, and King's direction for their exchanges has the perfect energy. The piece moves along, never allowing you, the viewer, to get bored. King also gets credit for assembling a dream team of a cast, as they are all at the top of their game. Aldous Hodge, who's been a favorite of mine since his days on Leverage, portrays Jim Brown and gives us a real sense of him at that stage of his life, just beginning to become world-weary and never backing down from anything. Hodge manages to sound like Brown and evokes his quiet strength. It's a nuanced performance. Leslie Odom Jr., perhaps best known as Aaron Burr from Hamilton, brings Sam Cooke to life. Odom makes him a real person as well, and his performance of Powers' words gives us a glimpse into the mind of this man whose life was also cut short. Odom also sang all the parts of the film himself, sounding almost indistinguishable from the real Sam Cooke. By the way, this time Odom gets to be in the room where it happened. My 2 favorite performances of the film are without a doubt Eli Goree as Cassius Clay and Kingsley Ben-Amir as Malcolm X. Goree takes on the part of Clay after his last iconic on-screen portrayal was by Will Smith. Now, Goree raises the bar a bit as he absolutely inhabits the role. He moves like Ali and sounds just like him. He captures the character's cockiness and youth, but his inherent intelligence. If you squint just a little bit, you might feel like you are seeing a young Cassius Clay on the screen again. And my absolute favorite performance is Kingsley Ben-Amir as Malcolm X. Aside from the physical resemblance and the reproduction of Malcolm's speech patterns, Ben-Amir has the rare opportunity to focus on Malcolm X at a time when he was likely the most vulnerable in his personal and public life. This was when he was on the verge of leaving the Nation of Islam. Ben-Amir's portrayal of Kemp Powers' version of Malcolm X shows a different side of the man than perhaps we saw when Denzel Washington masterfully played him, a side that was really only ever discussed by those who had real interactions with him. We see him vulnerable and moments of being unsure, yet we see the man of passion and conviction that we know, that history knows, and yet capable of great love for his family and his friends. While I'm sure it's no coincidence that this film was released right before Oscar season, I would be disappointed, though not surprised, if this film does not garner any nominations. Regina King has proven that she is a bona fide feature film director and has given us a passionate, though fictionalized account of 4 real-life historical figures who shaped the very world they lived in the most profound ways. While the film is surprisingly not over-preachy, it does take the opportunity to delve into the discussion of black financial independence versus selling out. This happens primarily in heated exchanges depicted between Malcolm X and Sam Cooke. True, there are events that are depicted out of order, but that's the case for all films that are quote-unquote inspired by true events. We know that these guys probably just ate ice cream and watched Gunsmoke, but at least this film is not trying to pass itself off as historically accurate. But it is truthful, and you can enjoy it as such. Okay, that's going to do it for today's episode. Have you seen One Night in Miami? What did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave your comments below. Also, please click that subscribe button and click the bell to be notified. And give us a like if you would. Working hard to give you new content. That's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you next time. In the meantime, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Peace, and we're out. God bless.